The episode begins with a man named Thors, whose wife Helga calls out to him. As Thors moves towards her, he trips over something and looks down to see a severed head. Suddenly, a man attacks him, but Thors counters and kills him, then defeats 2 more enemies. Another enemy tries to strike from behind, but Thors' comrade kicks him away. Thors climbs onto a post and slashes down an opponent. A fierce battle is happening in 987 AD at a place called Jomsborg. A man questions Thors about standing still, and Thors apologizes, saying he dozed off. He gathers the men, warning they can't withstand another attack. Thors jumps to another ship, fighting enemies, shooting arrows, and killing more men even as lightning flashes and snow falls. Thors kills an enemy, but gets struck in the chest by an arrow. Meanwhile, young Thorfinn listens to Leif telling stories about finding a new land full of fruits and plains, a place he named Vinland. The kids ask excitedly about it, and Leif says it's much warmer than Iceland. Thorfinn dreams of seeing it himself. Later, a slave escapes to Thor's village. They revive him, learning he fled harsh conditions. A man named Halfdan arrives, demanding the slave back. Thors bargains, offering 8 sheep to save the man. Afterward, Thorfinn asks Thors if their ancestors really fled to Iceland, and Thors admits it's true. The episode ends as Thors puts his hand on Thorfinn's head, while Viking ships approach. The episode begins in England, where we see a Viking base, and soldiers are approaching from the water. It was Saturday, the day the English used to feast. Suddenly, a soldier stabs a Viking with a spear, and the English soldiers attack, killing everyone, as their general orders that even women and children should not be spared. They set the place on fire. Meanwhile, in Iceland, kids are playing mock battles, and Thorfinn falls down, wondering why he always dies so fast. Leif comes and tells him not to lie in the snow or he will get sick. They head towards the ship, where Leif says he is leaving for trade and promises to bring wine back. Thorfinn asks to go along, but Leif refuses. Then Leif tells Thorfinn to deliver a message to Thors about a big ship arriving. Thors sees warriors arrive, and Floki introduces himself, telling Thors that he must come to join a war as all warriors are being summoned. Floki says that after disappearing for 15 years, Thors is being forgiven if he agrees to fight. Thors, however, declines, wanting no part in wars anymore. Floki warns that refusing would be trouble. Later, Leif explains to Thorfinn that Vikings are the strongest warriors, and Thors used to be one of them. Meanwhile, Floki hires mercenaries to kill Thors. Thorfinn dreams of joining his father's journey, even though Thors warns him there are no real enemies. Thorfinn sneaks into the ship, determined to fight. The episode ends with mercenaries being hired to attack Thors and preparations being made for the journey ahead. The next episode begins with Floki telling Askeladd that the plan hasn't changed, and he will pay him 5 pounds of gold for killing Thors, and he can keep his ship and supplies. Askeladd questions if Floki really wants his own hero dead, and Floki explains that Thors deserted the army 15 years ago and was supposed to be killed then. Askeladd agrees only after asking for advance payment. Meanwhile, Bjorn and others prepare for the mission. Then we see Ari saying goodbye to Ylva, but getting interrupted before he could propose. Helga wishes the warriors safety as they leave. At the docks, the villagers are worried about having only 5 men for 2 ships, but Leif assures them it's enough. Thors plans to drop off the young men in Norway for training and not for war. Meanwhile, Thorfinn hides away, upset after being scolded. The ships sail off and Thorfinn secretly emerges, shocking everyone. Later, in the middle of the sea, they relax as the ship moves with the current. Thorfinn is amazed by the ocean while Thors worries. Askeladd and Bjorn discuss how Floki lied about Thors' desertion and suspect deeper reasons. That night, they approach an island to rest but sense something wrong. Rocks fall blocking their path and archers prepare to attack. Thors tells everyone to stay calm and protect themselves. Pirates are after them, not regular farmers. Thors gives Thorfinn a small knife for protection. Askeladd's men prepare for battle, and Thors defeats multiple attackers with ease, impressing Bjorn. The episode ends as Thors stands tall, ready for more. The episode begins with Thors fighting and easily defeating 4 men, while Bjorn watches in shock and smiles. More attackers come, but Thors counters skillfully, injuring them and fighting off sword attacks with ease. Bjorn loses control, going berserk and attacking everyone around him, his eyes turning white. Thors realizes Bjorn ate a berserker mushroom and punches him hard, knocking him out cold. Seeing Thor's strength, the enemy pirates are terrified. Meanwhile, Bjorn tries to get up again, but Thors handles him. Thors then challenges the men on the second ship, and Ari bravely says he would rather die fighting than become a slave. The pirates build a bridge between ships to attack, but Thors jumps across, telling everyone to stay calm. Thors offers their leader a duel to settle the fight, and Askeladd accepts. Thors and Askeladd clash fiercely, with Askeladd realizing Thors is reading all his moves and setting traps perfectly. Thors overpowers Askeladd, disarming him without killing him. Thors asks him to surrender, but Askeladd hesitates, knowing the loss would shame him. Suddenly, Bjorn regains consciousness and captures Thorfinn, forcing Thors to surrender. Askeladd uses this to trap Thors, and archers shoot Thors with arrows. Fatally wounded, Thors tells Askeladd to honor the duel and leave his men alone. Thors asks Leif to take his head back to the village to protect everyone. As Thors dies, Thorfinn cries bitterly, swearing revenge. The pirates prepare to leave, and Thorfinn, filled with rage and sorrow, vows to kill them all one day. The episode ends with Thorfinn left alone, clutching his father's knife. The next episode begins with Thorgrim complaining about not reaching the meeting point yet, while Askeladd tells him to be patient. Meanwhile, on the other ship, Thorfinn is suffering from thirst and drinks salty seawater, hurting himself. Eventually, they reach England, and Thorfinn secretly follows Askeladd's men into the forest, but slips, hits his head, and falls unconscious. When he wakes up, he finds a river and drinks water happily, but then gets hungry. He sees smoke and discovers a village being attacked and burned by Askeladd's men. Terrified, Thorfinn hides and watches as the villagers are killed. Later that night, Thorfinn tries to sneak into Askeladd's camp with a sword to kill him, but hesitates and leaves. In the morning, the men joke about the noise last night, and Thorfinn challenges Askeladd to a duel, but is quickly defeated and humiliated. Afterward, Thorfinn struggles to survive alone, trying to hunt rabbits but failing. Meanwhile, back in Iceland, Leif promises Helga and Ylva he will find Thorfinn. Ylva pretends to be strong but secretly cries. Thorfinn trains harder, learning to throw his knife. Eventually, he catches a rabbit and eats happily. Later, he challenges Askeladd again, but is easily defeated. Askeladd, seeing Thorfinn's spirit, tells him to become a true warrior and win something big before challenging him again. Thorfinn accepts the challenge with burning determination as the episode ends.